Question? Same member.
Well, Speaker, my next question is for the Premier. Premier, in 2010, the Liberal government of the day, of which you were the Minister of Education, retracted its controversial plans to introduce a new sex education curriculum in our schools and promised to widely consult with parents before attempting another sex ed revision. But
Stop. The Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, you will come to order. Please continue.
Premier, just a few weeks ago, your Minister of Education suddenly announced that there would be a new sex education curriculum in place for the 2015 school year. And yet, Premier, there have been no meaningful consultations with Ontario parents on this issue. My question this morning, Premier, is very simple. Why have you decided to break the 2010 Liberal promise to consult with parents before reintroducing new changes to Ontario's sex education?
Question. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker, quite the contrary. We have followed through on that commitment, and the Minister of Education has announced a process whereby parents across the province will be consulted. And I will just say, you know, the notion that somehow the chair of the school council, the representative of the school council, that somehow that person doesn't have access to the school population just demonstrates how little this party opposite actually understands about how education works, Mr. Speaker. And to that life experience point that I made earlier, I've been the chair of a school council. I've been a school trustee. I've worked in community. I understand that the role of a school council chair is to talk to the people in his or her school, to get that input, and then to feed that input into a process. That's how it works, Mr. Speaker. And we promised we would consult with parents. That's exactly what we're doing.
Well, Speaker, back to the Premier. Premier, one carefully selected, hand-picked parent per school represents only 4,000 parents out of millions of Ontario parents. That's barely 1% of parents, Premier. This is not consultation. For the minister to suggest that such a covert process
Minister of Education, come to order.
A meaningful consultation is an insult to the intelligence of parents right across this province. It is simply smoke and mirrors, Premier. Premier, when will you reveal the contents of the new Liberal sex education curriculum so all parents in the province can see for themselves what you have planned for their children?
Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, I'll just quickly answer the first part of that question and say that what is an insult to the people of the province, and particularly to the hard-working volunteers in all of the schools in this province, is that this member wouldn't understand that those volunteer roles are extremely important, that they do connect with the parents in their schools, and that they have a very important role to play. And he really should learn that, Mr. Speaker, if he's going to be able to represent his school. Want to say something else? I want to say something else, Mr. Speaker, to the second part of the question. I believe that what this is really about is that this member wants to once again undermine the very real need for a strong and updated and modern sex education, physical and health education curriculum in our schools. I would think that given the issues that we have dealt with as a society in the last few weeks, he would have begun to understand that.
You seated, please. Thank you. Final supplementary.
Well, Speaker, back to the Premier. Premier, even this flimsy promise to consult the tiny, hand-picked select group of parents is a farce. On Thursday, October 30th, your Minister of Education suggested that it was unlikely that any feedback, even from these people, would have an impact on your Liberal government.
Stop the clock, please. The Minister of Education will come to order. Please finish.
Premier, this is another Liberal broken promise, another example of Liberal contempt for voters and parents in the province of Ontario. Premier, it seems you are afraid of telling parents what you intend to teach their children. Why don't you simply release the details of the proposed liberal sex education curriculum now? And Premier, what are you trying to hide?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So here is my advice to the member opposite in answer to his question, and that is to go to the schools in his riding, to talk to the elected chairs of the school councils, because they are elected by the parents in the school, and to have a conversation with them about what they think should be in the physical and health education curriculum, because that is the consultation that we're doing. But, Mr. Speaker, I just want to point out that there are members of this party that have called for a select committee to look into sexual harassment and sexual assault. I have said that I'm open to making changes and that that's a conversation that House leaders can have. But that flies in the face of what this member is doing, Mr. Speaker, which undermines if he doesn't think that at a select committee we would hear how important it is for...
It goes both ways. I'm not getting quiet for people to take their last cheap shots. And it's reached a point of regret for me. So
any discussion about the needs for children to learn about sexual harassment and sexual assault, there will be and necessarily a discussion about health and physical education curriculum in schools. Those two things are necessarily linked, Mr. Speaker.
New question, leader of the third party.